Alright folks, welcome back. This is video 2 of Twilight Imperium Basics with Jeff. Today we're going to do a couple more basics, which will be strategy cards. I'll show you an activation that includes a battle, and we'll go over how the heck do you win this game. Alright, with what are victory points. And that's basically I'll give you a quick op-ed. Everything is victory points. Like everything else that doesn't get you victory points is basically a distraction in this game, which is one of the fun design principles I've noticed. Let's shuffle and shuffle. I'm just getting them out. So every game you have, of the total you could have, you have 5 level 1s, 5 level 2s. It's basically worth 1 victory point, worth 2 victory points. You're racing to 10. Some people say 14, and I've never seen that. 10 takes long enough for me. All right, so let's start with what I wanted to start with. We'll start with victory points, actually, because we were there. All right, so a normal game, you start with the first 2 flipped. And let me change my orientation. It's easier. All right, so for example, right, first one, and this is a new, if you look at the bottom, there's that little cursor, a little weird thing at the bottom right. That means it's an expansion objective. Control more planets than each two of your neighbors. That didn't even make sense. I'm going to read that again. Control more planets than each of 2 of your neighbors. So you pick 2 of your neighbors, control more than each of them. By you get a victory point. So you pick any 2. A neighbor just means anyone you have a ship next to or a planet. And then this one controls 6 planets in non-home systems. Pretty easy. In the variant we're going to try to play next time to speed the game up, we're going to start with all level 1s revealed the first turn, which may save like 2 hours. Normally, after each turn, after the first turn, you flip 1, flip 1, flip 1, and then you get to the 2s. Playing the fast version means you'll get to see the 2s right away. So let's flip these. Control 4 planets that have defined planet trait. That's just, I'll show you a planet trait. That's these little green, red, or blue. Where's a blue? Here we go, a blue. So you just got to have the same planet traits, and you score at the end of a turn. So you got to hold them the whole turn. Control 2 planets that have attachments. These come in the exploration phase, which I won't explain in this video. That'll be another one. So that's a new one too. If you look at the bottom right, and have 4 or more structures. That is space docks or PDS. And you can. The best part with the revealing all run away, you can only score 1 every turn. With exceptions. There's always exceptions in this game. But generally, at the end of a turn, you can score 1. Tech 2s, the level 2s, tend to be much harder. 3 unit upgrades, so upgrade 3 of your units. Have 11 planets, much harder than this one, it's almost double. Spend 10 trade goods, some you just have to put money into it. Control a total of 6 tokens from your, spend 6 tokens from your tactic or strategy pool. Remember that currency we talked about last time? This means you have to just burn them. But if you do, you get 2 victory points, and finally, it would be have 8 or more non-fighter ships in 1 system. So these ones would get revealed 1 turn at a time, after turn 1, playing with the special rules. Like I said, though, normally you have to grind your way through the level 1s. So that's the objectives. There's also secrets. There's 40 of them. I'll find a couple examples really quick. I want to find one that's an action one, too. Let me see. And you get to pick these at the beginning of the game. You start with 1. You can have a maximum of 3 scored or in your hand. So, for example, this one's easy, action phase. So as soon as it happens, you score it. Destroy another player's war sun or flagship. 1 victory point. And once you get it, you put it in public. You say, I got it. And let's say I was the ghost again. You get your chit. You put it on it. You have a victory point. Nice. Some others at the end of the score round you phase. So control a legendary planet, for example. Right, that's 1. Or have units in the wormhole nexus, which is a new special planet. This one. That's cool. Or what else did we have? Control a planet in a system that contains a planet controlled by another player. So in a double system, control 1 of the planets. So these that will be taking part all game 2 on top of these. So if you're doing it right, the victory point game is pretty active and interesting all game. All right, so that's the basics of victory points. It's good to read them and understand them. There are some PDFs that tell you them, so you can kind of learn about them, but I wouldn't worry that much. Just know some are occupation, some are tech, some are spending. All right, the next one, strategic cards. This is one of the cores of the game. Every round, you get to pick normally one, and then that is your strategic action until next round. Now, what matters here, if you read the basic rules that explain them, if you have more than 4 players, some of them won't be in the game unless you have an 8-player game. So say we had 6 players, that means 2 will be out. Ooh, so sometimes the thing you need won't get picked. So generally you get to pick one. How? Speaker order. At the beginning of the game you determine a speaker, and then after that, it's just speaker clockwise. And if you don't become speaker, one of these makes you speaker. But what's interesting about them? I would say what I'd add today, some are better than others. Some depend on situation. For example, leadership. Oh, and by the way, they have this number at the top. If you read the rules, it's the order you act in. So 1 acts first, 8 acts last. So it's nothing to do with where you're sitting. Basically how they work, if you read the rules, right, pretty easy. The guy who owns the card, when you flip it, you activate the primary. And then everybody else can do the secondary if they wish. So for example, this one's unique, and it's actually one of the more popular cards, because when you play this, you get 3 command tokens. And then you can spend your influence to get even more. 3 influence for 1 command token. So like, let's say if I had these planets, I could spend Mir and Arnium for 2 additional when I play the card. That is pretty nice. And again, this is a currency, remember? So it would get you 1, 2, 3 to put anywhere you like. Make your fleets bigger, get more actions, have more strategy. And then I got 2 more. Let's get more strategy, more fleets. Really powerful, right? So now my fleets are bigger, I act more. It's quite good. If somebody wanted to play the secondary, they can do that, spend 3 influence to get more command tokens. So the primary obviously is better. You act first the whole round, and you get command tokens. So if you're feeling starved, get leadership. Diplo is number 2. It's a little harder, but basically it prevents people from attacking one of your systems. So say I was the blue guys, and I didn't want to get attacked this turn, I could play Diplo. I force every other player to put one of their command tokens from their reserves on the system. What does that mean? If there's a ghost token here, the ghost cannot attack it this turn. It's really good. And the second part of the card is also pretty decent, and they've changed it, thank goodness, to make it more useful. You can ready 2 of your exhausted planets. So say you've spent 2 planets to do something like build ships. Say you just did diplomacy or leadership. You could flip 2 planets back, any 2. And then the secondary, this is how most secondaries work, by the way. You spend 1 from your strategy pool. So if you're the person who didn't play this card, you can spend 1 from your strategy pool to ready 2 planets. Again, if you have 2 good planets that you've already spent, this is a pretty good deal. Now, if you'll notice, almost every card has a secondary that takes a strategy token. You cannot play all secondaries every turn. All right, now politics. You choose who becomes the speaker. Generally speaking, you want to pick yourself. But if you're already the speaker, you could say pick the person to your right, and you'd be second. You then get 2 action cards, and you get to look at the agenda deck, which just basically means when there's a political phase, you get to set the agenda. Where's the agenda deck? Here. There's votes and laws and all kinds of cool stuff. We're not going to worry about that right now. In the secondary, somebody can spend 1 strategy token to get 2 action cards. Again, another thing, they're basically special moves. Cool. Construction, super straightforward. The person with the card places 1 gun, space gun, the PDS, or 1 space dock, and then 1 PDS. So you get 2 structures. Remember, there was that victory point that's structures, so this is pretty good. You can put a gun anywhere, or a space dock, and then another gun. Solid. It's decent. And for the secondary, anybody can take 1 token from the strategy pool and put it on a planet and get a space dock or a gun. What's the problem, though? You have to place it on this place. So, like, let's say I put it in my home system. Bink. And I'm like, yay, I get a gun. What's the downside? Well, now I can't activate the system again because I've activated it. So you can't, within, again, exceptions, you can't build. Oops. Or move here. Uh-oh. So that can be a problem. But still, it's still good if you wanted to build. Trade. Remember those trade goods we talked about, that other currency? This is the most shenanigan-y one. You get 3 trade goods straight up. Pretty good. Then you replenish your commodities. So if I was these guys, right, I'd get 4 thing I couldn't use. And I'd get my trade goods. Pretty good. And then you can choose any other number of players you like to use the secondary for free. This is the most negotiated card in the game. So you can then try to wheel and deal and see if people want to trade with you. And finally, other people can spend 1 strategy token to replenish their commodities. I've almost never seen that happen. It's almost all primary for trade. Warfare, this one is the trippiest for new players. Remove 1 of your command tokens from the game board. Then gain 1 command token. Then redistribute any number of your command tokens in your command sheet. You might ask, Jeff, why is this any good? You can do 2 actions with 1 fleet. Let me show you. Normally, let's say I did a tactic, and I go here, and I move my ships, and it's an empty system. Yay, I conquer the planet. My ships are now trapped for the whole turn. They cannot do anything. They can get attacked too, by the way. Other people can activate. This guy, I'll show you in our combat example, this guy can activate and then fight me. And there's nothing I can do. I can't send reinforcements or anything until next turn. However, with Warfare, I can use Warfare, boop, and take my token back. And put it anywhere I want. And shuffle my tokens around. Maybe move 1 from strategy. Great. And now I can activate this again. I can fight, I can move reinforcements, etc. It's pretty good. Now, actually, the second Warfare is one of those interesting cards. Because it's such a good ability to have, the secondary is hyper powerful. Spend 1, everybody else can spend 1 token from the strategy pool to produce in 1 space dock in your home system without putting a token on it. So suddenly everybody else can build in their home system, and then later in the turn you can move out of your home system. This is a hyper-powered ability. So it might not look it, but both halves of the card is very powerful. Warfare is a great card. Technology, if you have read the rulebook, you know a little bit about tech, and we've talked about the objectives already. There's a whole set of tech that upgrades your ships, and there's a whole other set of tech that is a bunch of cool special moves. We'll talk about that in another video, don't worry. But tech is fun. So if you have the primary tech, you get 1 tech for free. Sweet! You just get any tech as long as you fulfill the rules for it. And then if you spend 6 more resources, which is trade goods or that yellow one on my planets, so I could do like 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5, uh-oh, not enough. Spend 1 trade good at 6. So I could do that, and suddenly, I now have 2 techs. That's quite good. And then everybody else, I think I'm crashing it. Excuse me, folks. Game is managing to crash itself. Stop. There we go. I don't want to refresh anymore. Thank you. Please let me resume. I made the mistake of hitting rewind. Everybody else can then do tech. For 1 strategy token and 4 resources, you can also get a technology. Again, very powerful card primary, and most people want to do the secondary if you can afford it. All right, finally, Imperial. This one's trippy. Most people think this card sucks, and it can. What does it do? First, immediately score 1 public objective if you fulfill its requirements. Remember I said you can only score 1 public objective a turn? This is the exception. You can score 2. And then, gain 1 victory point if you control Mechatol Rex. I'll show you what that is in a second. Or draw a secret objective. This is how you get more secrets. And finally, everybody else can spend 1 token to get 1 more secret. Up to a max of 3 ever. Or you can mulligan 1 you don't like. Now, what is Mechatol Rex? 1 victory point sounds really good. The middle of the board has basically the capital of the universe. If you have any units on here and you own it, and you play Imperial, you get a free victory point. And by the way, you also get a free victory point if you spend the 6 influence to capture it first. Fantastic. A lot of the game revolves around denying Mechatol Rex. So there you go. That's the basics for these. These are kind of the core pinnacle of the game, the order in which you get these cards. I'll bring cheat sheets to our first game, but I highly recommend reading the rules for these and kind of digesting what they do and why you'd want to do them. And by the way, if you have questions, please ask in the Discord. I'm happy to help with that. Now finally, I want to give an activation with fighting example. Now interestingly enough, I just explained Mechatol. These guys, the Winnu, are the Mechatol faction. they want this middle one. They basically get a capture free. They get +2 in their combats there. It's great. But these ghosts I was just showing you earlier have been horrible people and are blocking. So they, in their blood feud, want to fight him. So let me show you how a full activation would work. So let's assume they captured that planet with all their guys. These guys don't care. They're going to go ham. They want to fight. They have good feeling. Okay. So if you remember, oop, that little guy fell down. So let's say I dropped this. I activated, I moved my guys. What is the order of operations? Well, if you look here, it is space cannons, nobody has those. Space combat. And you just always follow these steps. It's anti-fighter barrage, announce retreats, make combat rolls, assign hits, retreat. So at the beginning of any round of combat, you can decide to retreat. But let's assume these people want to fight to the death. And we'll pretend this is their system. They kept it. All right, how do we fight? All your dice here have combat numbers. And you need to roll that number or higher to hit. So, the blue will do them first. Have a cruiser, a carrier, and 2 fighters. And they're going to shoot and hope they kill. Fighters and the carrier are on 9s. Cruiser is much better on a 7. And they all get 1 dice. So let's roll for the cruiser. He misses. Suck. Let's get 3 more. And try to get 9s. Nothing. Whiff. Great. And then the ghosts have a fighter, 2 destroyers, and a carrier. And actually, I forgot. Fighters, or destroyers have a special ability where they get a shoot before the battle starts at fighters. They have anti-fighter barrage at a 9 times 2. So they actually get 4 shots to try to wipe out those poor fighters on the blue team. Let's see if they did it. Nope, mulligans never work. They missed. So let's see if their attacks do anything. And I think they're all 9s. Let us check. So 9 for destroyers, 9 for fighters, 9 for carriers. Yep. So they're going to try to hope for a 9. 6. Oh, they got a 9. There we go. Look at that. A 0 is a 10, by the way. So these poor blue guys have to kill the ship. They're going to kill this little fighter. And we're going to fight again. Cruiser. Hits. Goodness gracious. And then 2 for the fighter and the carrier. That was a miss and miss. All right. And then the 4 for the ghost guys. Lame. They miss everything. So now the blue got a hit. And of course, you always kill fighters first. Fighters aren't that good. All right, and you keep fighting until the game's over, basically. We'll say this time the ghosts think they're going to win the grand battle. So the ghosts are going to try to retreat to their system here. So when you retreat, you have 1 more round of combat. So let's shoot with the cruiser. Cruiser hits on 7s, I think. Yep, the cruiser hits. And then the fighter and the carrier. Hit and miss. So 2 hits. That is not bad. And the ghosts are really happy they retreated. 8, 7, 3. Wow, the ghosts can't roll. So the 2 destroyers die. Those are pretty cheap ships, though, so it's all right. And this guy retreats to his friendly system. And he's going to leave his infantry. He could take them if he wants. He doesn't want. And when you retreat, by the way, you have to get one of your tokens from your reinforcements, which just means your extras. And now your planet you retreated to is tapped. Generally, you can only retreat to a system that you own the planet or you have ships. Again, there's always exceptions. So here we go, we win. Yay. What's next? We control the space. Well, next is invasion. So you bombard, you commit ground forces, you fight. There's space cannons, we don't have those, and we do ground combat. Let's see if a 2 versus 2 can go well for these poor blue guys. Okay, so how does space combat work? Or ground? Exactly the same, except there's no retreat. So our purple guys hit on 8, and these guys hit on 8. Won't this be fun? So let's do the blue guys first. 8s. 1 hit. And then we'll do our other friends on 8s. 2, a miss. So okay, 1 of the grays die. We just keep going until the fight's over. Let's see how bad they do. Misses on the blue. Miss on the other guy. Fights can get derpy. Let's see here. Oh, we finally get 2 hits. So if this guy, it looks like he lost no matter what, and he missed. Man, the gray can't roll. Bang. So now the blue have conquered the planet. Yay. And so this card normally would be in his hand. and it would move from his hand to your hand because you conquered it. And they're now happy, and now we have a blood feud. All right, everybody, that's another basics video, just covering victory points, strategy cards, and an example of how a very basic fight would go, and an activation. The next one, we'll go over factions a little bit. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that was helpful.